Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to this Austin FC media availability session with head coach Josh Wolff at the conclusion of the match this evening against Seattle Sounders FC. As everybody knows, use the raise your hand function in the reaction section to put your questions to Josh, and we will come to you one by one. I'm going to ask you to keep your questions to one question only so that we can get through this quickly for everybody and give as many people a chance to ask a question as possible. And we are going to kick off shortly, just when the permissions to record have been completed, which Laura is working on right now. So let's make a start. Our first hand up raised today is Mark Turner. Mark.
Hey, Coach. Absolutely fantastic display, particularly in the second half. I thought Beasler, Julio, Ring, just Herculean displays. I've got to ask you, what the heck did you say at halftime? Your teams are starting to show some real incredible displays second half. What on earth went on in the locker room at halftime?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about, certainly how we started the game. We were in a little bit of trouble. They boxed, they put a box in midfield, and we had a difficult time dealing with it. So after about 20 minutes, we changed a little bit of our structure, got a little more stability. But mostly we had to fight and grind through that first little bit. And they're a tough team. They go 1-for-1 at the back. They high press you, and it made it challenging. But at halftime, we talked about a couple of the subtle corrections to help out defensively, just to give us a little more stability. And then offensively, I think we played ourselves into the game. Once we dealt with their pressure and again, committed to the idea to get around the ball, have good body shape, think about how we want to process the ball across the field in advance, we did a much better job. And we created some very good chances again. And again, right now, for whatever reason, we can't get it to go in. But Cecilia had a chance. Jared had a good chance. I think Johnny was right there. We had a number of chances we could have finished off well and come out of here with 3 points. But really proud of the guys for first answering the bell, competing, and second grinding their hearts out, and putting together a real collective effort. And we deserved the point, and I was proud of the guys.
Good job, Coach.
Chris Bills.
Yeah, Josh, we saw obviously Cecilia Dominguez playing at the 9 tonight.
Yeah.
Seemed like he brought maybe a different energy up there. What did you see from him, and do you think he's maybe your best option right now, at least with the pieces you got right now?
Well, I think it's we're making the best of the situation. Obviously, Schoenfeld's out with an injury. Hosum hip was bothering and sore. Didn't make much sense to fly here and then play on turf. So I think Cecilia brings a little bit different dynamic as a center striker. He's got cleverness. He's grindy. He's gritty. He's unpredictable, and he can also bring guys into the game. And I think John and Jared, for me, it was about their willingness and their the capacity to keep competing, keep running behind the line. And, they did a really good job as well. But Cecilia did a great job. It was tough. We were 1v1. Those were big guys when they're high pressing us. So we could be a little more clever, a little more creative in how we had to try to play out of that press. But it was challenging. But I think Cecilia, again, he hung in there. He fought, and he brought us into many plays. So I thought he did a good job. He's unlucky. I mean, that one from about 15 out, he smokes. And unfortunately, it's blocked. But we had some good opportunities.
Mike Craven.
Coach, from a morale standpoint, how important was this point to stop the losing streak? And then what were you impressed most by your defensive line?
Well, I think it helps with morale. Again, I think knowing each game going away, how difficult it is to win. In particular in Seattle, this has been the best team in the league thus far in the season. They score goals. They don't give up many goals. And they're just a really well-balanced professional team. And we knew it was going to be tough. And we answered the fighting and the grinding, and in particular, you mentioned the back line. I thought Matt Beasler and Bully were fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I think from a competing standpoint, from a staying calm standpoint, dealing with Rui Diaz, even Montero, Will Bruin, when they pop off the lines, the way they move behind lines. So the whole back line did a great job, but it's a collective effort. Again, we made some subtle changes to give us a little bit of stability, which helps the back line with some of their with their ability to drop when they need to drop and pick up runners when they're coming through. But a really gritty performance, and I can't say enough good things. I thought Matt and Julio did a great job fighting, grinding, set pieces as well. So very good collective effort from the group.
Claire Partain.
Hey, Coach. Great game. Was just wondering if you could talk about Fagundez's performance today.
I think Diego is Probably exceeded my expectations the entire year, and performance like this is exactly why. He's so versatile, and he puts in a real shift both offensively and defensively, but has great calm, has great positional awareness. And when asked to do whatever role, he just takes it and runs with it. And again, he's able to play in tight spaces. He's able to transport the ball forward, break lines. And I know he was cramping at the end, but he put in a big effort, and we all needed to in order to come away with that result. I didn't want to make too many changes. We had to there at the end because it's a tough game to come into. And those guys were fighting, and they deserved the opportunity to finish it off the right way, and they did. Diego's been great. He's unlucky. We probably didn't unlock a couple more. He had some really nice interchanges, bringing us into the attack and transition. And he probably could have snuck a goal as well, but he does a really good job for us, and was really pleased with his performance tonight.
Josue Lopez.
Thank you very much. Hey, Josh, congratulations on a great performance, and this despite the turf. Can you tell me how does the turf affect or benefit the team's performance tonight?
Well, I think it affects it. It's a tough surface to get used to. We have turf in Austin. It's a different turf, and we have cork rather than rubber. So there's a lot of different types of turf. It's wet, so it does move. It moves okay. It probably wasn't as fast as it usually is, but it's challenging, especially for some of our new guys, our internationals that come in. That's probably a different surface than they're used to get used to it. But it's the ball does move quickly, and certainly they're more comfortable. They're more familiar with it, and that bodes well for them, and certainly gives them an advantage. But our guys hung in there. I think once they understood the need to play with speed and take the extra touch, try not to play one touch as often as possible because the ball can get away from you. But I think it didn't have a huge effect on us on the night. I think it had more with their pressure and the way that they stepped up and went 1-for-1 against us was what made it most challenging. The field was playable. It was fine.
Jorge Iturralde.
Hi, Coach. I have a question. Cecilia told us on Friday that you guys, if you didn't win, they didn't want to lose. So the first half, we saw a team that it was more carefully on the back, and then you let them go on the front, or it was just circumstantial?
Well, I think we had a tough time dealing with them at first. Their structure, this 3-2-2, they put a box in there. They bring guys down off of our back line. Montero showed up in spots where Diaz, rolled down. So it was challenging. It was a little different than what we looked at, but we made a couple adjustments, bringing Diego a little bit closer to Alex, try to help stabilize that. They were framing Alex. So I think once we stabilized that, then we were able to get a little more foothold of the game. And then our ability to play and be willing to open and be brave enough to play through some of that pressure started to show. But it was challenging, building up from your goalkeeper, 8 against 7 and 1-for-1 at the back. That's the one thing we missed out on. They were 1-for-1. We needed more cleverness to really challenge. I mean, their back line's difficult. Those are good, strong, powerful center backs. So Cecilia, Jared, and John had their hands full, but little interchanges, somebody coming a little bit lower, really challenged the line for getting behind a little bit more. So, but that variability is something that we'll talk about. But our guys grinded, and I thought we played our way into the game well.
Eric Goodman.
Hi, Josh. Just how encouraging is it that you can go away against a team that most had at top of the league in the standings and in just perception of ability and get a result like this?
Yeah, I think, again, this is our 7th game on the road, and, it's going to be difficult. And, the expectations and the desires are always, I'd say the desire is always to come in and compete, give yourself a chance to win points. Seattle's been the best team in the league. There's no doubt about it. They don't give up many goals, and they score a good amount of goals, and they have high quality and, at both ends of the field and all throughout. So I think it gives our guys, a bit of satisfaction that we could come here, obviously roll up our sleeves a bit, compete, get into the game the way that we needed to, and we knew we would need to. And then we played our way in, and we had some chances. Without a doubt, we should be coming away with a couple goals. And sure, they had a few chances as well, but this is what it's like every week on the road for us. We're gonna be up against it at times, but we're gonna have to settle in. And I think we did that as this game went on, and this should give the guys confidence because that's a good team, and we deserved a point. And I think the guys will be pretty proud after this game.
And Mario Tapia.
Hello, Coach. Yeah, I think we all enjoyed the game. It was a great game. I think all of us were expecting a lot from Tomás Pochettino. How do you feel his process adapting to this team is going on? Do you think he's doing a good job?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I think I've been in this league since 1998, and you know, players come into this league and some settle quicker than others. And you know, he's playing probably in a different system. There's probably a bit more structure and organization in the way that we play, so he's having to adjust to that. He's flying around the country, you know, every 4 or 5 days, having to recover. And again, I think all of that's new for a lot of the guys. So we talk about that as a staff, and certainly our high performance team and our leadership groups. But we don't have you know, a false sense that it's going to be difficult. You know, I think Tomas is getting fitter. He's got really good moments of performance in the game. And again, like everyone else, he grinded out there and did a good job today. And he does some things in the game that I think a lot of players can't do. And then, you know, we're trying to obviously encourage and build him into our structures as much as we can, so he has more ability to make impacts in the way that we play, both offensively and defensively. But it's going to continue to take time for him. But he's got a great attitude, good spirit. And again, I think he's adapting. It's going to take time for everybody. Cecilia, Johan, Rodney. It's not too terribly different. We'll just see how quickly you know, we can get them to contribute a little bit more.
And with that, I'm not